You are currently watching part 2 of this series. If you haven't checked out part 1, I highly recommend you start with that. So if you want to follow along, make sure you check that out. In this video, we're going to discuss how to wire up your sub and how to link all the necessary devices to each other. Alright, so we're here in the editor. In general, you want to power everything first, and after that do all the logic. Like with power, I mean like power the systems, and with logic, I mean make the sub function. So the blue stuff is the logic, red stuff is the power. We'll begin with the reactor. I have a few mods installed, so you might see some more wires and stuff here. I'm kind of lazy, so I didn't turn them off, but the basics should be the same. Power, you generally want to start from the reactor, just wire power out to a circuit box that's next to it, or junction box rather. So this is going to be your main circuit, or your main breaker, so to say, and you're going to link this one with a red one to the junction room, and you're going to set this up like this. So you can have one, where's my red, here's red, two, and this one, the first junction box, is going to be your main, I like to call them distributors or something like that. Like they distribute the power over all of the other boxes. So you have the reactor leading into this one. Like the reactor can only power one box. So you put it into one box and then you get this one to another one, and you distribute it over the entire thing. Why we put it in here actually is because we also want the reactor to power the batteries. So we're going to take one power in, gonna put them in the batteries. You're going to take this power out and put it back, so you have like a loop here. And now you just take some more and you just daisy chain them together, so you make a closed circuit. It's not going to be the most it's not going to be the prettiest wiring, but it's just to show you guys how this actually works. So now we have all the junction boxes powered. We have the batteries powering the main circuit, and the reactor charging up the batteries when there's excess power. So you want to go test that out real quick. Obviously you guys are not going to see anything, so you're going to slap in a rod, put on power, just power it up. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, wait. I see. You're going to have noticed that they all turned red, but that's because we don't have any load on the system right now. I can't show you here, but you just have to make sure the recharge speed of the batteries is set to 500 or something positive, so the system doesn't overvolt immediately like it just did. And then we test it again, and now it should work. You can see we have 500 load now. And now they're green. Nope. I just power spiked it a little. There you go. But you can see the batteries were just charging. Are they charging? Yeah, they're charging. Let me just put some lights on it so you guys can see. If you're doing lights, make sure your toggle is on, else they don't turn on. I don't like this lamp. Let me put this lamp in. You see? It's on. There you go. Just copy paste. That's what I like to do. Tuck it somewhere nice. Okay, so these lights are obviously going to require power, and we have to wire that. So what I like to do is put my lights on the first one, or I actually like putting my vitals on the first one, then my pumps and stuff on the second one, and then my lights on the last one. So I'm just gonna put the lamps and stuff on the last one, but we'll do that later. I'll wire the engine first and the guns. And I just realized we are missing some supercapacitors here. Because every gun requires its own supercapacitor instead of just a normal junction box. So we're gonna have to find a place to fit those. Which is going to be really annoying because I forgot that in the first part. But I think I can just be a little creative. Just scale them down, and then we're going to flip them up. Just put them in there. I mean, it's not the best, but it will work. Okay, so we're gonna start with the vitals now. What do I mean by vitals? I mean the engine, the navigation terminal, and the guns. That's all I mean with vitals. And they're all gonna go in the first box because that's the most important one. So you have distributor. This one is almost full. And then it leads to our first actual junction box where we're gonna wire systems to. So you're going to grab your red cable. You're going to take your red cable and you're going to run it up to the engine. Doesn't really have to be pretty. People don't see this anyways. There you go. Now the engine is wired and powered. Okay, well, we're going to take another red cable and we are going to run it to the nav terminal, because that's also a vital system. There you go. Make sure you also take this one, the status monitor. If you don't want to wire that directly to the junction box, because you're going to run out of connections if you wire everything to the junction box, you can also just run it through a relay, and the relay basically extends the power over multiple connections, if that makes sense. So you can hook like one and then you can take another cable. It's not pretty, guys, I know, don't worry about it. And you can hook up another, and you can hook up to 5 here and hook up to 5 here, so you can have 5 junction boxes leading into this, and then you can have 5 connections. So you can just daisy chain this together as much as you want. Just make sure you don't overload the circuit box. So that is that. And these one, I do need to say, these components, they only let through, I think, wait, how much is it? Hold on. Yeah, they only let through 1000 watts, I think this is, or volts. I think it's watts. So you can't like daisy chain these together, because you need like 10k watts to power a gun. But for systems, it's fine. Sonar should have power. That's the sonar. And the status monitor also has power right now. I haven't hooked up the lights yet. That's okay. But I'll show you guys the engine. Engine is also powered. And we have 635 load on the system. Oops. Next up is the guns. Now it's time for the guns. And we can only hook up 5 total here, so we're gonna have to, I think, put these on the second box, and I'm just gonna put the oxygen generator on this one, and maybe the pump. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let's start with the pump. You can use ladders and stuff to hide your wires. I think it looks a bit better. Okay, that's the pump hooked up. And then our last connection is going to go to our oxygen generator, because that's also a vital system. And we're gonna have to do something else with the oxygen generator later, but I'll explain it later. Because we need to add vents, and we need to link the vents to the oxygen generator, so we actually get oxygen supplied to the ship. We also have to link the ammunition loaders to the guns. Speaking of the guns, we're gonna wire the guns. All right, so remember, this one is now full. We have 6 connections total. No, wait, we have 5 total. So 5 connections is the max you can put on one circuit box, one junction box rather. So we're gonna take this one. Like, if this one's full, you're gonna move to the next one and take your wire, take your wire, take your wire, run it to the first one. There you go. Power out, don't touch that yet. This one's gonna lead to the guns later, but we're just powering the systems on right now. So there you go. This is the same for all the guns. Just make sure they all get power in. So now we have engine power, status monitor, nav terminal powered, oxygen powered, and the pump powered. We have batteries charging the whole thing. Now we're just gonna have to do the secondary systems and the guns. We have the superchargers powered, but we don't have the guns powered, or the supercapacitors rather. So, because the reason you need a supercapacitor is because the guns, they need a massive amount of energy when they fire. Especially if you're working with rail guns, flat cannons too, and double coil guns. They require a massive power surge, which the junction boxes or batteries cannot provide. So you store the energy in a supercapacitor first, and then you release it all at once. This is also true for the electrical coils. On bigger ships, you'll have electrical coils. They exact same thing. So you need to route it through this first. So the capacitor charges up first, and then it releases it when you shoot the gun or fire the coil. Just make sure you set the recharge speed to, I think 500 is fine. You can also, wait, can you, I think you can, yeah, you can also hit E on it. Just make sure you put it in the middle here. Just make sure you don't forget that, because that's going to be really annoying to troubleshoot. Okay, we have to power the guns. So take your gun, power in. You're going to route that through the floor or whatever, doesn't matter, as long as it connects. So this back gun, like this is the back, this is the front, okay? this is the back gun. We're going to route that to the back capacitor, so it's nice and easy. And you're going to route that to power out. So this capacitor is going to power out to this gun, and that's going to take the power in. Okay, so the capacitor charges the gun. Same here. Wait, I'll do it from this side. So you have the power from the junction box flowing in here, charging the capacitor. Then the capacitor is going to charge out, so power up the gun, because the charge is going out and the power is going in the gun here. So capacitor into the gun. Same here. Power flowing out. Shit. Power flowing out into the gun. There you go. It's not that hard. So now they all have power. And they should work. And the pump also has power. Okay, good. So you're going to just do a little test run. Just tell your AI to power it up. Just wait till he powers it up. There you go. Should see, yeah, there you go. Yes, the pump is powered. Junction boxes are all green. This one is green. You can see the load here. Because we just put up the capacitors and the guns and the engine, we have a massive load on it now. You can see the load here, it's climbing. And the battery should still be charging. It's going to take a while for them to charge, but you get the point. And you need to see this as well. This means all the guns are powered. Wait, does that make sense? No, here, you need to look here. If these are charging, that means you did a good job. And you'll notice that the periscopes and stuff, they don't do anything yet. Because we haven't wired the logic yet. That's the part where we're going to get to now. I've also noticed that there's no pumps or no ballast pumps on the ship. Well, there's a ballast pump. There's just no drainage pumps. So if this floods now, it's all going to get stuck in the fucking... Like, the water is not going to drain out because there's nowhere for it to go unless you open, like, all the hatches and stuff. But we're going to fix that later. Let's just wire the logic first so we have the main base of the ship done. And then we'll add in all the cool stuff after. All of the systems have power now, except for the suits. You see these suits? These are the special... I think if you take diving, I have a lot of stuff here, but you should look for wired diving suit lockers. They will come with the relays here, so it's a bit easier to wire. And since it's like these are the lowest priority systems together with the lamps, you're going to wire them to the last box. So if your junction gets flooded, you're going to repair from left to right, like every normal human being. So this is the main one, and this is the most important one after that. This is then the more important one, and this is the least important. Wow, this is the most important, but this belongs to the reactor, so I'm hoping you got that. So this, you're just going to... Okay, wait. Need another relay here. I don't like that spot. Okay, another relay. You're going to take your power cable. You're going to power in here. Oops. And then you're going to power out to the first relay. Put that to power in. And power out to the second relay. Into power in. So these suits will now start recharging their oxygen. And we're going to do the same thing here. Actually, you could probably just... Yeah, if your suits are closed, you can just take this one. You can run it over here. You can power in here, and you can daisy chain it. Because it's 4 connections. There you go. So that's 2 ways of doing it. I hope that kind of makes sense. You can also just do it with more relays, if that's easier for you. So that's the suits wired up. I'll split the cable out so you guys can see. So that's the suits. Now we're going to need to put on some lamps. I'm just gonna use easy lights. You generally want to add lights in every room. Doesn't really like you can make your ship fancier than mine. I'm just explaining the logic here. I'm not trying to build a really cool sub. I'm just here to teach you guys what the fuck you should do. Okay. Well, I'll just put it here. I don't really care. When you're doing lights, you want to do it with relays too, because relays don't have, or the lights don't require a lot of power. So you can just do it with relays, and it's way easier than wiring it to fuck ton of junction boxes. Always count your connections, so I just wired 2. So you can only wire 5 to this. So keep that in mind. I should have probably used a different color for power out, but oh well. I already wired half the ship now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can wire 1 more. There you go. Bam. Then you're going to take your power in and you're going to route that to your junction box. There you go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more. You can really just hook the lights up to any relay you want. Like if this one was more empty, you could have just put the lights on that as well. But if you want to keep it clean, you can keep doing the method we just did, where you take a relay and just split the power out. So we're gonna keep doing that. So I'm just gonna be lazy. You can just wire this to a random relay around your ship. I'm just gonna route it to the nav terminal because it's not that important if this lamp is not working. And besides, this one should have more power more often because it's on a more important circuit. Alright, so now the entire ship should have lights. If I power up the reactor, tell my AI to power it up rather, we should get lights on. So now you can actually see around your ship. Why doesn't this work? Okay, hold on, we have an issue here. That's probably because this one... Wait, no, it's only on... Oh, here, I see. I forgot to wire it. You see, you can always forget something. Right, power on, and now everything should work. Yes, did they? I think they did. Yes. Perfect. So that's the basic powering of your sub. Now we're going to have to wire the logic of the sub. The logic is probably, well, it's easier, I think. It's less work. It's just more annoying because you actually have to make sure you get all the right stuff in. Also, we're gonna start doing the logic first by adding a docking port, because I forgot that in the other tutorial I made. So you're going to take this. You can either take a delayed one or a simple docking port. It's gonna look like this. You're going to want to make a hole in your sub, add in the port. Let's make sure it lines up with the ladder. Actually, what I like to do is just remove this ladder and then just extend the ladder that comes from here for pathing, for pathfinding for the AI. Then I like to, hold on, move the platform up to where it meets the hull. And then move the hatch behind it. Then just put your hull back in so you don't flood. Just double check your holes and gaps here, that it's all still looking good and looking in place. You can see it's fine here. But if you add the hatch a bit too high, like now it's not flooding, now it will flood if you leave it open. Okay. Really important for this, if you don't do this, you're not gonna be able to dock. Take this, take signal 1. You're going to plug that right, well, maybe not like that, like this. You're going to plug it right into toggle docking, else you cannot dock your submarine and you just can't play with your sub, because it's kind of important that you can dock, no? Yes. Understood. So you're going to navigation terminal toggle dogging on signal 1. And then this is all wired for you. If you take the hatch, it's gonna toggle state and it's gonna open the thing. Now it's time to make the ship move up and down and back and forth. How do we do that? With the nav. Navigation terminal. Take your velocity X out. You're going to... X is horizontal, yes. And for horizontal movement, we need an engine. So you're going to take your velocity X and you're going to put that to set force. So we can move back and forth now. Oh, but I want to move up and down too. Okay, great. Let's velocity Y up and down. You're going to wire that to your pump. Because that controls the up and down. You're going to... don't use this. Set target level. Okay, really important now. You're going to click on a hull and you're going to look for this. Optimal neutral ballast level is 0.4922. Going to click your thing. You're going to go look for neutral ballast level and you're going to type that over. So 4922 I meant. I'm going to put that in here. Just make sure you put that in here because that's going to control that's going to make sure your sub, if you put it on maintain position, is going to stay in its position and not go up or down because you wouldn't want that. Now we need to wire the guns. The guns are really easy. They're just a bit more annoying. Well, they're not annoying, they're just... I just get bored of this, man. Like, it's so much, like, tedious stuff. Okay, you're going to take a wire. For logic, I like blue wires. You're going to... I like doing position in first. I don't think you guys have all these. Well, maybe satellite and toggle light, but there's some modded stuff in here. Just take position in. And you're going to route that to the periscope that you want to control that gun. And then you're going to take trigger out and you're going to route that to the gun as well. Trigger in. So position and trigger. This is going to make sure your gun works when you get on the periscope. So for the middle gun, we're going to do the same thing. Position out. Go down here to the gun. Position in. Now you're going to want to trigger out or trigger in, whatever. And you're going to do that to this one. And for the last one too. Wait, where am I going? Up front. There you go. You can always double check. It says position in here, so or position out. You go to position in. And this is going to be trigger in. So then you know it should go to trigger out on this. There you go. And now your guns work. Great. Okay, so now we have the guns working. We have a docking port. We have most of the sub, well, actually all of the sub is powered. Now we're just going to add in, well, actually no. I'm going to explain, the guns don't work yet. We need to make sure we link the, just make sure you turn this on. We're going to need to link the ammunition base to the corresponding guns so the ammunition can actually shoot from the gun, else it doesn't work. So take your little eye symbol up here, or eye, whatever the fuck this is. Your eye, make sure you turn on links, hold down space. Okay, so click your, this is the back gun. Click the color gun loader. Make sure you don't click this, loader. You're going to click that, shit, here. Loader, hold down space and click on the gun. Same thing here. Okay. Click on the loader, hold down space, click on the gun. Loader, space, click. That's it. Now they work. Gonna go over here and show you guys. And you can see I got on the gun. And I can move it and stuff. It's for all the guns now. And you can see the power is charging up. And if I click, the gun works. That was rather easy. Okay, you can see we're floating up currently. So if I put into autopilot now, It's going to control the ballast. And we're level now. See? And we can even move this up forward. Up and down, whatever. Like, it all works. It's great. Okay. Now that we have that done, we're going to work on actually breathing in the sub. Because we need oxygen. Okay. So, you're going to take a vent. I think, yeah, these are modded and stuff, but you should just look for a vent. Can either be a normal vent or a loose vent, doesn't really matter. I think you need one loose vent on your sub, so I'm just gonna add that in. And then I'm just gonna turn all of these off. Well, I'll leave links on. You're going to add a vent in each room. There you go. Is there one in here? No, there's not. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so now you have a vent in each room. You're going to hold on shift and select matching items. You're going to be able to select every vent. And if you want to hide them in the game, you can click this button here and they'll be hidden in the game. So you don't see all the ugly stuff. Then we're going to have to link these to the oxygen generator. So same as with the guns. Click the oxygen generator, hold on space, and just click to all the vents. There you go. Make sure you get every single one, else you're going to have a compartment where people die. Unless that's something you want on your ship, I won't judge. There you go. Well, that was all the linking. I see that we have a little periscope here that we can put to the searchlight. So we can see out the top. Does this need power? This also needs power. Okay. So we're now going to run a little power cable up to the top. There you go. Power in. Okay. Same thing with the guns, guys. Power or position out or position in needs to be wired to position out. Trigger. Well, I don't think you really need a trigger here. I mean, you can wire that to set light, I think. I think the toggles is on and off. Don't quote me on that though. I do not know. I think we have most of the sub wired now. We just need to make sure it doesn't flood. And we can drain it out properly. But I think I'm going to save that for next time, because this tutorial is already going to be a bit long. But everything functions now. If you want to try and make sure the sub drains on itself, you can just look up ballast pump here, I think, or pump. Or no, I think it's a bilge pump. Wait. Just look up pump. You're going to find, well, airlock pump, you should add in the airlock. Just route a power to it. Shit, now it's there. Okay. And you're also going to have bilge pump. This one automatically comes wired with a detector. So just put this in every room that you don't want to flood or you want to like drain water out of. And just make sure you power it up using a relay from one of these. Yeah, you can probably wire it to this. Just make sure you add another junction box. But I'll go into further detail in my next tutorial on that, because there's also some other stuff that you can do with duct blocks here. You have automatic duct blocks. You can just install these in general. Like, you want to install the advanced duct blocks in between the... Here. Just a little quick tip. You want to install these in between the holes here, so they drain out to the bottom. I'll just put in a few, so at least some of the rooms can drain. There you go. And for places that cannot have these, so there you go. This is like really easy to do. Honestly, you can even remove these blocks here. Wait, I'll just leave these in for now, but you can remove these pieces and scale this up if you want. Doesn't really matter as long as the holes like touch here and the arrows are there. But for places that you cannot drain into another room, like this, you want to add a bilge pump or a pump, whatever, this thing, and you want to power it up. Because this water will drain into the ballast tank. This water here will drain into this room, so you want to add a pump here. Like it's kind of water management, and obviously you don't want a duct block here because this is the airlock. That's stupid, and it's gonna drain into the reactor. That's dumb. So here I would add 2 pumps, and just make sure you drain into the ballast tank, and if it doesn't drain into a area with a pump, just make sure you put a pump there so that actually defloods. And you should have a working sub by now. You can probably, I don't know, can you figure out the rest yourself? Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to make another tutorial on how to properly make sure your sub defloods? Just let me know. I'm gonna save this. Also make sure you sign price marks and stuff here, whatever. If I didn't explain that, you can create an image here. And name it something cool, YouTube sub. Save. Just say yes. I don't know. And then you're gonna quit out, and you can test your sub in your game if you... Oh, I have a lot of sub, whatever. It should be in here somewhere. Like if you make a new save, you can play with your sub. I'm pretty sure. If not, let me know. I'll help you out in the comments.